I'm a commercial fisherman in the Florida Keys, and my absolute favorite part of what I do for a living is the insane amount of variety of sea life that I end up bringing into my boat. So, this is a stone crab trap, and those are stone crabs that I'm harvesting. And if you look inside this bait cup I'm about to grab, you'll see an octopus. This isn't terribly uncommon, but this season there was a lot of these octopuses crawling around. This one is actually full grown. It's a female, and she is hiding inside this bait cup to ambush the stone crabs that I'm trying to catch. So she hasn't been in there very long, you could tell, because the stone crabs that I had in the trap. But they love to gobble up all our target species in the gear. So a lot of fishermen really hate these things, but I appreciate them. I actually treasure these animals, so I'm very careful with them. They're delicate animals. You can't manhandle them. So you see, I kind of have to herd that critter around inside the trap to get it out safely. You can tell she's sort of been roughed up before. She's got that missing tentacle there in my palm, so something took a bite out of her recently. But other than that, she seems to be pretty healthy, and if I left her in this trap any longer, she would end up spawning inside of it, actually laying her eggs inside my crab trap, which, I don't generally have a problem with, but I can't just leave her in there or she'll eat all my product, and then I don't have any crab to sell, and then I end up living in a cardboard box. I'd really rather she got evicted than me. And we're just gonna send her back into the ocean to live her best mama octopus life sometime later this season. Hopefully, maybe I'll get a shot at catching some of her babies later this year and make a couple of bucks. They do really well in aquariums once they reach a certain size. What we have here is actually a good example of what I was just talking about with the octopus spawning inside the trap. So this is what that looks like. These are Caribbean octopus eggs, and they just sort of hang. And a crab trap makes a good spot for them to lay their eggs because they get good water flow, good oxygenation. They're protected from predators if anything wants to take a bite out of that goopy shit. Um, but yeah, it's a great spot for them, and I just leave them there so they can hatch. There's no reason to hassle them at all, really. Good luck, little octopus eggs. There's also a little baby spiny lobster crawling around down there, and he's not hurting anything, so he can stay too. So every so often, the rope will get fouled on something, a structure on the bottom, and you never really know what it is when you get hung up. And today it was something kind of particular here. This is actually coral. I got hung up on a little chunk of coral, but the way that it grew is actually kind of special. So what this is a lobster trap was lost probably decades ago, and those are made of wood and concrete in the bottom for the weight. So the wood decomposed or got eaten from around the concrete and just left these little concrete slabs on the sea floor. And they got populated with these corals. Now, I'm a long ways from a coral expert. I really don't know very much about these things, but I know there's at least three species of coral growing on this that I can see. Um, Definitely couldn't tell you much more about that other than this has been down there for a very long time, and it just made this awesome little octopus garden. Now, I know they don't look super colorful here, but these corals are all actually pretty healthy, except for the little bit of rope burn on that one arm that my rope got tangled around. But what a magical thing to haul up here. My first skipper in Bristol Bay, Alaska, used to tell me variety is the spice of life. And I know he wasn't talking about bycatch, but I think the principle still applies here. This is pretty cool. Now, I think the best way to handle this is when I drop it back in the water, the weight of the concrete will just naturally drop it bottom down, and it can continue to grow and thrive and just be part of the environment here. This is actually habitat for wildlife and sea life on the sea floor. So we're gonna just drop her back down and let it grow some more. Good luck, little coral. Now, this is actually one of my favorite fish to catch. I love catching angelfish of any variety. I just think they're awesome because they're pretty. I like pretty things. So this is a black or a gray angel, depending on what you call it. They look an awful lot like a juvenile French angel with the black and yellow stripes there. But they are not the same fish, and they grow up looking very different from what this is. This is a nice, healthy one, so we're taking that home. And this is a stone crab that lost all its legs. I like to call these Lieutenant Dans, but they do grow back, and this is a perfect example of that process. So every time they molt, their legs grow back a little bit more. And what happened here is a predatory fish, either a triggerfish or maybe a parrotfish, or something with some serious chompers got a hold of him and just diked all his legs off. So we're just going to leave him in the trap and give him something to chew on because they don't move around so good when they don't have legs. But we want them to do the best they can. So maybe he'll do all right. He'll be okay. Don't worry. They do recover. So the area where I'm doing most of this crabbing is at the confluence of the Atlantic Ocean, the Bay of Florida, and the Gulf of Mexico. It's where everything comes together. So I have this explosion of life, and this is a great example of that. This is called a scrawled cowfish, and they are absolutely stunning. This is a perfect specimen. You can see his tail isn't tattered at all. His horns are in good shape. He's making the little kissy face. I adore how these fish will just flap their tails sitting upright. Their body is completely hard. There's nothing soft on them except for their tail and their eyes. But they do well in aquariums, so we're keeping it too. So, believe it or not, all this is actually in one day. This is just a day in the life of a crabber in the Florida Keys, and I really wanted to share it with you. And the last little guy we got here is called a sergeant major. They get their name from the stripes on their sides, very much like a sergeant major, and they have an attitude just like a sergeant major. Very aggressive, kind of an asshole, the NCO style. But we'll see you.